Hey everybody, this is Jeff Kelly. I'm really happy you're here again. We are talking today about how to get your email inbox to zero. And I don't know about where you are, I don't know about where you work, I don't know about what you do, but in my career, I certainly had this as a challenge for multiple years. I tried lots and lots of different ways of handling my incoming email. And when I discovered that I should just use my inbox as a place to handle incoming stuff and not to store stuff, it totally gave me a system that I was able to use to be really effective with my email, to make sure that I was spending the time focusing on the work that I needed to be sure that I wasn't missing things that were coming in, missing tasks, stuff like that. I never used my email inbox as an excuse after that, all that kind of stuff. So I want to share that with you. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. I want to tell you real quickly how the call is going to go. So there's some new people here. We're going to start, and I'm going to talk about the main topic, the main presentation topic, the nugget of knowledge that I'm sharing with you today. We'll spend probably like 20 minutes on that, and then we'll move into Q&A, just open conversation about what you got going on. If you want to ask me questions about this, I'm welcome to answer any questions you have. If you want to ask me questions about anything else going on in your career with where you're at and what you're doing, I'm happy to do that. You just hop on in here, unmute yourself, and ask your questions. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and roll into today's topic. So how to get your email inbox to zero every day. So when I discovered this secret, it totally changed my corporate America experience. For years, I'd had big email inboxes. And I was the kind of person that would end up with hundreds of emails in the inbox, and then I'd have to dedicate hours to going through and cleaning that stuff out. And sometimes I'd miss stuff. Sometimes I'd have to blame missing tasks or missing deadlines on my inbox. All that, it was awful. So I don't know. I tried multiple things. I tried having like 1 million folders. I tried setting up 1 million rules to auto sort mail. I tried getting myself out of a whole lot of mail. I tried again. I tried different folders. I tried different rules. I'd wipe it out. I'd try again. I tried stuff. Maybe like every 4 to 6 months, I would try something to get that sucker under control. And I never really had something that worked for me. And there was always some stuff that worked for other people, but a lot of times their stuff was really complex, and I just never felt like a big complex system was the way to go for me. So here's the thing. It's really, really simple to get your inbox to zero. And the way we're going to do it, the way you're going to do it is it's going to empower you to make sure that you spend the time that you need to on the tasks that come in on email. It's going to make sure that you keep the emails you need to keep so that you have them later. And it's going to make sure that you handle the things that you can do quickly. It's also going to have another benefit, which is that you're going to have more time to spend and focus on the other work you're doing. Because I know one of the things that came as I entered corporate America, one of the things I experienced is that I was taught by the people around me that when an email came in, I had to be attentive to my email. I had to have it on my phone. When it came in, I had to read it. It could be from my boss. My boss might need me. Another teammate might need me. I needed to be on that. But over time, what I discovered, particularly when I got into management, is that was just a complete randomization on my time. It was a complete waste of my time when I let it interrupt me, because I was doing something at the time. Maybe I was in a meeting. Maybe I was working on something. Maybe I was handling a personal task. Maybe I was in a meeting with one of the people on my team. Maybe I was working on a project. Whatever it was, if I let that email take me away, then I just ruined my productivity on the thing I'd assigned my time or myself to. So here it is. So it's a 3-step plan. Number 1, you need to treat your inbox as a triage zone only. And this might be hard. It might be a challenge. You can do it. It's not a big deal. But if you think about a triage zone, so a triage zone comes from law enforcement and disaster response and hospitals, things like that. Triage zones are a place where they receive incoming patients, and they decide what to do with them based on the kind of care they need. So this is what your inbox needs to become. This isn't a place where people get care. This isn't a place where your email gets care. This is a place where emails come to you and you decide what to do with them and you move them on. Okay, so that's the first one. Number 2, when you're focused on your email, you're going to handle any email that's going to take 3 minutes or less to take care of. And any email that takes longer than 3 minutes to deal with, that email needs to become an appointment on your calendar. So now what we're doing is, in this triage zone, we're making some decisions. If you can just put a Band-Aid on that sucker and you can send it out, and that patient's going to be good, that email is going to be good, then you're going to do that. If that email, it needs to come in and it's going to need, doctors and nurses and specialists and all that, now when you're triaging your email is not the time to deal with that. You want to put that on your calendar. You want to dedicate some time to it. You want to give it the time that it deserves to get done. And by doing this, by using the 3-minute rule, you get to remove emails from your inbox as you handle your email. Okay, so that's the second one. So it's the 3-minute rule. The third one is that you need to stop reacting to emails when they come in. Now, this one is going to potentially be the hardest of the three because this is a behavior change. This is a habit change. You might be under the impression that it's extremely important for you to respond to an email immediately. Let me tell you that it's not. And if people are sending you email that they expect you to respond to immediately, they're using the wrong communication mechanism, whether or not they know it or not. You might need to teach them that they can't use email as an emergency communication tool for you, but ultimately email is it's a two-way conversation that happens one message going one direction at a time, right? People who are assuming that email is speedy need to use something else. They need to text, they need to call you, they need to walk to your desk, they need to do something different. So that's the third rule. You need to stop reacting to your emails immediately. So there's 3 rules there. There's your inbox as a triage zone. There's the 3-minute cutoff. You're going to handle emails that are less than 3-minute tasks. You're going to put them on the calendar if they're more than 3-minute tasks. The third one is you're going to stop reacting to your emails immediately. So I'm going to hit each of these 3 a little deeper here, so you can get a little bit more sense for how I handle it. And then we'll wrap it up. It'll be time for you to do Q&A and ask me any questions. We can talk about your email box and things that you need help with or that kind of thing. So let's talk about the triage zone. So triage, like I said, triage is you're deciding what to do with it. This is not a place where an email stays. This is a temporary assignment. So what I do is I put time on my calendar every day to handle email. And handling email means that I'm spending time dealing with the short time tasks, the under 3-minute tasks, and I'm triaging. I'm putting it on my calendar if it's a long-term task. I'm giving it a quick response if I can give it a quick response. I'm doing a couple minutes of work on it if I need to. But the critical thing is that I'm spending time dealing with my email as a triage zone. So when I'm in a triage zone, there's 3 things that can happen. I can handle that email. I can assign time to it later on my calendar, or I can store it in a folder somewhere because I think I need it. I guess there's a 4th one, which is I can delete it. So when you're in triage mode, you're either going to handle it, you're going to assign time to it, you're going to store it for later. And by for later, I mean like for reference, right? Like not like I'm going to store it for later and come back because I have to scrub through that. Like I'm going to keep this only because it's possible I'll need to refer to it later. That's what I mean by store it. And then option 4 is I'm going to delete it because it does not matter in my life. So that's what I do. I pull up an email. I decide, am I going to handle it? Am I going to assign time to it? Do I need to store it, or am I going to delete it? And I do it. And then I go to the next one. And so that handle it, that first step, that's your 3 minutes. If I decide to handle it, that means that my assessment after reading it is that I can handle it within 3 minutes. If I can't, I'm going to assign time to it. So that's really the core of the triage zone. And like I said, I put dedicated time to it. So I have literally appointments on my calendar for doing email. And the reason I do that is because that way people don't interrupt me while I'm doing my email. I can go someplace else. People aren't expecting me to be anywhere else. I'm not trying to jam it in at the beginning and end of my day. I can deal with it when I need to deal with it. So let's talk about the next thing. Let's talk about those emails are going to take longer than 3 minutes to deal with. So these emails are actually appointments. These are actually people asking you to do work. These are people asking for time on your calendar. You just might not think about that way right now. So emails can be so many different things, but if it's going to take longer than 3 minutes, it's a calendar thing. Now, you might just put some time aside to deal with your more than 3-minute emails, you might have an email that's going to take you like 12 hours to deal with, so you need to span it over multiple days, right? I mean, like there's all sorts of things that can happen here. But remember what your goal is. Your goal is if you're going through triage and you find something that really needs your time and you need to deal with it at, when you can focus on it, it's going to take a long time. That's not triaging your email. You need to put that on your calendar in a different place. Because remember, you're going to handle it, you're going to assign time to it, you're going to store it, you're going to delete it. So let's talk a little bit more about, let me give you the tip on assigning time to an email. The way I do it, I've used Outlook for a long, long time. And so there's this nice little trick in Outlook, which is that if you're in Outlook, if you've got Outlook open, you're going to click on that email and you're just going to literally drag it to the calendar tab. And when you do that, it's going to pop open a new appointment for you. This is really, really powerful. It's something I didn't know for like the first 5 years of my career. And when I found it, it was totally life-changing. Like I could just take an email and make it an appointment and it would be there. So what I do is I drag the email to the calendar, I let it go, it pops open a new appointment thing. I open up the scheduler to figure out when I'm free because I don't know when I'm free and I don't have my calendar up. You're still in the email view. I find a time when I'm free, figure out how much time I think I'm going to need to give to that appointment to get the task done. And then something very, very important, I copy that email into that appointment because that way I can actually respond to the email later, right? Somebody's probably asked me to do something. I'm probably going to respond to them in email. I need that email, but I don't want it in my inbox. So I'm going to put it into the appointment as an attachment. So that way I can open it up and I can reply when I want to see what I was supposed to do or when I need to reply with a response. So now here's step 4, the most important step. You're going to delete it from your inbox because you don't need it in there anymore. It's in your calendar. That's it. Wow, you just cleared that sucker out of your inbox. You put it on your calendar. You can do this in Gmail. You can do this in inboxes. Each of the different systems. Some might take longer than others. Some might have more steps than others, but you can do it. So the next step is store it, right? So let's talk about store it for just a minute. Store it is all about keeping it when you think you're going to need to refer to it in the future. This can't be a task that you need to do because you already weeded that out. You either did it or you put it on your calendar. These are simply things that you might need to refer to. It's okay to keep those. You're going to want to get them out of your inbox, store them in a folder. If you're going to have a ton of this mail, you're going to want to do it in a way that's not going to get in trouble with your corporate storage limits. I just use a single folder for this, just so you know. So I use one big old folder for all of it because that way I can just search because I'm going to know who sent it to me or the topic or something. And I don't want to have to look through this crazy folder tree and wonder where I put it back when I kept it. So I just put it in one folder. Okay, now last thing, you need to stop reacting to your email immediately because when you do, it distracts you from whatever it is you're doing. So I turn off all new email notifications. I turn off my email client if I can, right? So if in Outlook, since it's Outlook, I have to have it up for it to give me my meeting appointment, you might need to keep it open. But you can turn off all the dings and all the pop-ups and all that. If you can close Outlook and you can just get your meeting reminders on your phone, hey, even better, because now the temptation isn't even there to open that thing up and just waste a few minutes just trying to go through your email. And then I stop checking my email unless I'm in an appointment that says Jeff's checking his email. I do them about 3 times a day. Depending on the amount of email I'm getting, I make them longer or shorter so that I can get through it all. And that way, every day I can get done. I can get, at some point in the day, I hit 0 in my inbox. It's not necessarily at the end of the day, but when I use my inbox as a triage, I just triage it in, I put it on my calendar, I deal with it, it's done. So one last thing before we go, if you go to jeffrekelly.info, if you look at the career page or the career section, you're going to see the replay of this call. You're going to see the worksheet I got for you. We got the hookup this week. Get your email inbox to 0 worksheet is up there. It'll guide you through the process of doing this for yourself. You can go check it out right now. It's on jeffrekelly.info. Check out the latest blog post or hit up the career coaching page, and you'll see it right in there. So I'm going to be quiet now. It's time for you guys to get in on the action. Time for us to communicate with each other. Time for us to build some relationships here, help each other out with whatever we got going. And if you have questions about this, cool. I'm here for you. I'm happy to answer them. If you have questions about other stuff, we can talk about that too. So if you want to talk, be sure to just take a minute, unmute yourself. That way we can hear you. And then when you're done asking your question, or you're done with the conversation, then be sure to mute yourself again so we don't get any barking dogs or heavy breathing or anything